Well, you just heard Cheetah mention it a bit ago. The rain is pretty much over, but we know that a lot of you are anxiously watching the rivers and the creeks near your homes. We're talking about the San Bernard, the Brazos, and San Jacinto Rivers and Peach Creek up in Montgomery County. And the main problem is all that rain you see in here, it has to go somewhere. So that means rivers, creeks, and bayous.
Yeah, Brittany Ford is live for us this morning with a look at a notorious trouble spot. Brittany, good morning to you.
Stephanie, good morning. I'm here at the San Jacinto River off 59. You can see right behind me a car left over from that rising water that we saw yesterday. And really the San Jac is expected to keep rising, and we could see some flooding over the next few days. It's just one of the rivers and creeks we're keeping a close eye on right now as all that rain we've seen works its way downstream. Now down in Fort Bend County near Needville, the San Bernard River is also rising. It's expected to reach almost 33 feet by the end of this evening. Now that is something that hasn't happened in that area in almost 20 years. Now this is what the Brazos River in Richmond looked like yesterday. That river is expected to crest at nearly 17 feet, a 2-foot rise from the recent rains. And in Montgomery County, as you guys mentioned, Peach Creek has already begun to flood. So really the message here, if you have property along those rivers and creeks, you want to secure it while you can. We're expected to see these rivers continue to rise through the weekend. I'll send it back to you guys.
All right, Brittany Ford, thanks for that. Our newest member here at KHOU 11 on H-Town Rush.
Yeah, we already have her out in the elements this morning, the last 2 days. Way to go, Brittany. All right, remember you can track the latest weather updates across our area. Just download our free KHOU 11 mobile app and we'll send you alerts as they come in. Make sure you turn on notifications and that will be in your settings.
Just about 6:35, a North Texas man is the first to be executed in the state since last summer after failed attempts to get clemency. Arnie Ruiz has the very latest on how it all played out.
Well, this case drew national attention. Quentin Jones pleaded for his life in a video that was picked up by the New York Times and other national media. But Governor Greg Abbott did not intervene, making Jones the first inmate put to death since the height of the pandemic. Nearly 22 years after Jones beat his 83-year-old great-aunt to death with a bat, his plea to spend his life in prison fell on deaf ears. Jones was sentenced to death in 2001 in Tarrant County and had been on death row ever since. But some relatives, including the victim's sister, had asked that Jones' life be spared. They said he was remorseful and had changed for the better during his time in prison, and a petition for clemency collected more than 170,000 signatures prior to his execution. But last night at 6:40 p.m., he was put to death at the state penitentiary in Huntsville. Well, the state court of appeals had paused all executions after COVID hit the state prisons last year. But this makes way for other executions to move forward. By the way, this was the first execution where a spiritual advisor was allowed to be with the inmate in the death chamber. Guys, back to you.
Arnie Ruiz, thank you. And we now turn to another murder case with a big new development in the last 24 hours. Lydell Grant from here in Houston spent 7 years in prison for a murder he did not commit. The Texas Court of Criminal Appeals officially declared Grant actually innocent. That clears the way for his attorney to have Grant's conviction expunged and for him to receive $80,000 in compensation for each year he was wrongfully imprisoned.
It's a percentage of the world that's going to have in their mind that I did the crime, but even to them, I got nothing but love for y'all because God is love, and that's who I represent. And I just want to just thank God once again.
Lydell Grant was accused of stabbing a man to death outside a Montrose bar back in 2010, but DNA evidence later led to the arrest of another suspect, clearing Grant. And at 6:37 now to a bizarre and just tragic story in Northwest Harris County.
Yeah, a family's frustration escalated, then ended with one man dead. Even worse, investigators believe that he wasn't even involved in the situation and was simply in the wrong place at the wrong time.
4 members of one family charged with murder in a case of apparent mistaken identity. Harris County Sheriff's investigators say 19-year-old Joe Argueta and 3 family members are all charged with murder after targeting a person they thought had been harassing them at their home in Northwest Harris County. 29-year-old Eddie Clark was shot and killed late Monday night as he arrived home from work. Police say the Arguetas were looking for a black Dodge Charger. Clark was driving a dark gray Challenger.
The White House says President Biden told Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu he wants a significant de-escalation in the fighting with Hamas militants who've launched deadly rocket attacks. But Netanyahu says Israel will press ahead with attacks in Gaza. Israeli strikes have killed hundreds.
We are engaged right now in forceful deterrence. We're doing that while doing our utmost to avoid civilian casualties.
Students at Porter High School are getting national attention for developing an app and raising money to send tablets to help seniors in nursing homes.
I'm hoping it spans the nation and that all this isolation-induced depression gets eliminated or at least reduced by a great margin.
The students are one of the winners in Samsung's Solve for Tomorrow competition and are now set to get $130,000 in Samsung tech. The Astros bounced back on the road, beating Oakland 8-1 in the second of their three-game series. Houston is now on the heels of the first-place A's in the West. The two teams face off again today.
Yeah, we stomped those A's. All right, now to warnings about what you need to do if you are clearing out that clutter from your home.
Yeah, we know this is the time of year to get that spring cleaning done, but Goodwill has a really simple request. Please stop donating trash. Before you drop off that bag of unwanted items, make sure the items are worth donating, because since the pandemic started, these stores got a bunch of unwanted contributions. Just look at this. This is just a pile of broken glass and dirty or unusable items. And what is so sad is a lot of this stuff is coming in after hours. The director of operations of Goodwill here in Houston says if we don't take something and they know we don't take something, they don't come when we're open. They're just dropping this outside stores.
So frustrating. I think, when people see these pictures for the first time, their first question might be, why? Why are people giving trash, garbage to Goodwill?
And it's a great question, but what those people are doing is just passing the cost of disposal onto a nonprofit instead of taking care of it themselves. All of that trash means Goodwill pays more for trash bills, and it means fewer funds available to help programs that get people back to work. So you might think it's harmless, but there is a very real cost here. Another question you might have, how do I know what to throw away and what to donate? I really love this quote from one Goodwill manager. If you wouldn't give it to your judgy mother-in-law, then don't donate it. I'm honestly not sure, Cheetah, that there's anything in the house I can donate.
I may be with you, Brandy. I agree with that. Okay, let's talk about the one thing you need to know in weather. We have some big time improvements this morning. In fact, we're starting off mostly dry. We do have a 40% chance, though, throughout the day of a few scattered showers. However, that flash flood threat has dramatically dropped and really is improving.